Okay, query management and XTM. Exciting new feature. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on slides here. The XTM forever has had features that enable you to manage queries and translation. That's comments on segments that everybody can see and respond to each other. We've had the XTM Messenger, which is the built-in instant messenger for a very long time, which also helps you to manage that sort of thing. But none of them have really been formal query management up to now. So it's always been kind of a bit of a workaround. And I myself was a translation project manager and translation services for close to 15 years. So what I like to tell these tool builders is that project kickoff is not when project management ends, that is when project management begins, because that's when all the queries start to flow in and you have things to deal with. And the goal of XTM as an enterprise TMS is to give you as much automation as possible in project creation and flow and returning the translated content from whence it came, so that really you just have to manage by exception and just do troubleshooting on the way, which is query management. So I'm going to show you what it looks like today rather than spend any time on slides. But what we've done is expanded the XTM Messenger chats, the instant messenger built into XTM. If you're familiar with it, if you've used it, they've been project-based chats up to now, which is cool, and you can still do that. But the expanded part for query management is now you can link a chat directly to a segment in the workbench, so that everybody can see that clearly and discuss whatever the issue may be and resolve it, right? So that's very cool. Their chats, like I said, like the other chats, except for these, have additional metadata. They have priorities. They have a status that project members can assign and modify to track the resolution of these queries, right? And just like the regular XTM Messenger chats, you can include all the project members, PMs, and all linguists in all languages. They can only be for a particular target language and those project members. And just like all the other chats, you can specifically select the users to be included. And now the new thing in 13.2, if you've happened to use this feature since 13.1, the new thing is that you can mention users in the chats. You can add them, like in most every other messaging app out there. So the feature is so cool that, of course, you're going to start creating a lot more chats. So we've also introduced a new query management module to help you manage all these chats that you're going to have going on. It lets you search and filter through them and all that good stuff, because it's useful feature, so there's going to be a lot of chats. That's what it does. Okay, enough of that. What I really want to do is show you what it looks like in the tool. So let's switch over here. Now what I'm going to do, in this view, we're looking at the XTM Project Manager view. If you guys can tell, you can see the little Swedish chef here. This is Google Chrome, okay? The only way I can access the same XTM account with two different user accounts at the same time is to use two different browsers. So Google Chrome with the Swedish chef is the PM. Over here in Firefox, if this is clear, this is where I'm going to log in as individual linguists. So I'll be switching back and forth a little bit, and I'll hopefully remember to mention that when I do, but so you can track the view as we go. All right, so step one, I'm going to make a project here. Really fast, I hope. Right, so I'm just going to do 3 target languages right now so you can get a sense of the variety, but obviously you can have as many as you need. I want this file and this file and this file for reasons. A simple 2-step workflow, right? Just so you get the I've got a translator per language and I've got an editor per language. So we're talking about a project manager and 6 linguists, okay? There could be more, but I'm keeping it relatively simple right now. Leveraging some TMs, none of this stuff is important. Got a little MT that I'll stick in there, it just saves me some time. And lately it's been making me give a due date, so I will do that. Okay, bang, project. Now while that's uploading and analyzing and whatnot, if you know XTM Messenger, you can see right up here the chat feature where I can see, I'm the PM and I can see the chats that I'm currently involved in. The little icons here indicating which ones have new unread messages for me. I can see the project name, the chat gets an ID number because each one is unique, and I can see the participants, who's in them, okay? We'll get more into that stuff in a minute. There's a couple of things that you want to do on the project management side, or some settings regarding the chat feature that you want to be aware of, because linguists don't have access to all this stuff except for the avatar thing. You have the option to send an email to chat participants whenever a new chat is created, okay? This is so, for people who won't spend all day in the XTM user interface to see when they have unread stuff, you can send them an email. It's not going to notify you every single time somebody adds a new message to an existing chat. This is just for when new ones are created. And the other important one, actually there's a couple important ones. This one is an option. This one allows linguists, because all these chats I'm talking about, project chats and the new query management segment chats, they can be created by linguists too, right? This can be initiated from any side. This one allows, I have it off, but this one allows linguists to chat amongst themselves without including the project manager. And that makes some PMs nervous. On the other hand, you might get a lot of chats. So right now I've got this one turned off, but that's an option. And this one is about if you're familiar with the LSP subcontracting feature in XTM, there's a link between your main account and the LSP project manager, and then the LSP project manager to the individual linguist that they have resourced the task for. So, but by default, I think this is turned off, and the LSP PM will not be included in a chat automatically unless you turn this on, so be aware of that one. So these are just the chat configuration settings available to you. My project here is all ready to go. I've got 3 languages and 3 files per language, right? And what I want to do is start this workflow, which of course can be automated in the project template, but I forgot to do that. So I've started the project. These translate tasks are now active, and these translators can start working. So I'm just going to run through quickly a simple little scenario of how a query management chat might get created, how it might get resolved among multiple project users, and then I'll show you the manager and stuff like that. So let's start by, let's say I'm going to come over here now. I'm switching to Firefox. So this is the linguist view. I want my Spanish translator who currently has a task assigned to them. So I've got 3 tasks actually assigned to me. And let's say I'm going to come here, and again, on the linguist side, I see the chats that I'm already involved in up here. And again, the linguist can create chats, right? But this is from the task menu here. Again, these are the project-based chats. So the old features still work, all right? But that's not our focus for today. Let's say I'm going to edit this file, translate rather, because I have editors. All right, we got some, let me clean this up a little bit. I like to move my visual mode over here and get it in the way. So I'm translating let's say I'm translating this file, and well, I've got a bunch of ice matches. Isn't that nice? Let's not spend any time translating this. Let's just say I'm working away, and I'm going to go ahead and mark these all as done because I've got a bunch of TM matches here, which is nice. So we're translating this file, and then I come and I want to finish my task. I think I'm done, right? So I've got XTM set up. This is the admin and the PM side. I've got XTM set up to automatically run some consistency checks and other things when a linguist finishes a task. And I got a hit here, which, spoiler alert, I pre-programmed into this file, which is why I selected it, right? So I've got a consistency error. What it says is that some segments have the same source text, but the different targets. In other words, I've got segments that are same on the source side, but they're translated differently. This is an automatic consistency check that we can have. So I'm notifying the linguist, and they'll go, oh, hey, I should go check that out. So I'll cancel this, and I'll come to my segment filters and my consistency section, and I'll say I want to look at the segments that have the same source but different target texts, because that's what XTM told me there's a problem. And what I see here is a set of repetitions, right? Nothing too fancy going on here, but I inserted a different translation for this last one in Spanish. And I go, well, that's weird. There's 5 of these, and there's 1 of these, and they're different. And there's nothing here in the glossary or the terminology management to tell me what to do about this. So I got to, hang on a second, I got a question here. Patrick asked if linguists can chat with each other within the workbench. Generally, yes, linguists can. I hope I answered that earlier. You can allow chats. Linguists can always chat with each other. It's just a question of whether you allow them to do it without the project manager. So I've identified this issue. And so what I'm going to do here in the workbench as the linguist is I'm going to right click on this segment. And what I have down here is create chat for segment. So the wording, this is the query management, what we're calling the query management tool. But all the labels and stuff, we've tried to be very generic with the labels because there's a lot of uses for chats based on the segment level, right? But I'm going to create one here. And so the first thing you see here is a reference, and it says source or target. So basically the question is the issue that I want to report related to the source text or the target text? Now the effect here is, in my case, I'm going to do the target text because it's about the Spanish. The difference here is really only which project members are included in the chat at first by default when you create it. Okay, if you choose reference equals source, if the issue is a source language issue, then by default, XTM is going to include all project members, the PMs, and all linguists in all languages. If you choose the target language, then by default, it's just going to be the PM, and if you can read this right here, the participants, and all linguists in this language. So we're talking about the PM, the Spanish translator, and the Spanish editor this time. All right, that's really the only difference. You can actually watch this text change when I PM and all linguists in the project or all linguists in this language. And then you can start with a priority, like how important do you think it is? I don't know, looks like a terminology question. So let's be nice, we'll call it low priority. And then you type your message. And for any Spanish speakers, I picked a random Spanish translation just to have something different. So maybe it came from MT, maybe it came from who knows where. And I won't spend a lot of time typing. That'll create the chat, and I've got this message that it was successfully created. So here in the workbench, for those of you who are familiar with this, we have a new doc box here for chats that are tied two segments, right? This one doesn't have one, this one doesn't have one, this one does, because that's where I created it. And I can see the reference, the priority, the participants, the date it was added, and all that good stuff, and it has an ID number. Now here's a little wrinkle. I'll go ahead and open up this chat by clicking this ID number. And if you can see this message, this is a thing. It's less than ideal at this point in time, but it's an old infrastructure problem that we have yet to resolve. When the chat box gets opened, it gets opened in over here in the task view or the projects view if you're the PM. So otherwise, it's an instant messenger, right? You can respond, you can attach files, blah blah blah, and here I can see the participants. I can see the project manager who created the project. These are the nicknames of the users in the system. Hopefully you can read this. I've tried to make them clearly identified so you can see what's going on, but I've got a Spanish translator and it identifies who created the chat, and I've got a Spanish editor. Right? That's what it looks like, but I just created it, so I'm not going to add anything. And of course it shows up here in my list now, right? And I can open it from here too. But it's not for me necessarily. It's going to be for the PM and for the editor. So let me switch back. Oops. Over here, back in Chrome, Swedish Chef, this is the PM view. I've got a new chat here from my Spanish linguist. I say, hey, I identified this segment. How do we handle this? And I'll be really clever and delegate this to somebody else. Now this is part I want to show you. So I'll say, hey, Spanish editor, what do you think? Right? So I'm mentioning this user specifically. And then I can close that because I'm done with it. So now I'm coming back to Firefox, my linguist view. I'm going to log out and log in as my Spanish editor. Link, which is going to look a lot like the Spanish translator, except there's no tasks here, right? Because the workflow hasn't actually advanced to the editing stage yet. Although I still can see my planned task that's coming, right? But I do have a new chat. And notice I don't know if you can see this, it's really tiny. There's the unread circle, and then there's a little @ symbol there. It means I've literally been mentioned by name in this one. So maybe I should take a look at that. I go, huh, okay. I've got an issue with this thing. And now here's the other tricky part. So like I mentioned, there's old infrastructure stuff that we still have to resolve, which just means the project management server and the workbench server are not communicating 100% in real time just yet. So if I'm the editor, I go, all right, I got a problem here. I better figure out where this is. So when I open this view, way down here at the bottom, it says access the query management to see more chats. This is the new QMM module. When I open this up, I get a box that lists all the chats that I'm involved in. And I can search and filter by all these different criteria: customer, project name, file name, blah, blah, blah. When you get a lot, you know, creation date, all that kind of good stuff. I can even filter out and just show me the ones that are unread, right? So, but this is the chat I was just dealing with. And anyway, so searching, filtering, obviously when you have a lot of chats, notice in this menu, I can, this says create chat, but it literally opens the chat box so you can add more messages. But notice I have the option to change the priority, which I don't really need to do. I can also change the status. So let's say I'm looking into this, and I'll go ahead and say it's in progress. Now, the trick is, where is it? So I can look at the details on the chat, and I can see everything. I can see the project name, which I obviously could see here before. But more importantly, I can see the file name and the segment number, and even the segment. Notice the target text is put here because this is the reference of this chat was a target. There would be a copy of the source text if I did the other one. So I can see all these details. I go, oh, okay, it's this file. And now I can come over here to my plan tasks for this project, find this file. Go ahead and open this sucker up. It's all locked right now. Anybody remember what number that was? 16, I think. There it is, 16. And anyway, point being, I can see the issue here. I can see the chat associated with it. I can check it out. And now I can, come back to this chat again over here in the task view and give my opinion. Let's say this one is again, apologies to Spanish speakers. I don't know what I'm doing here. My Spanish is rudimentary. All right. Boom. This is the editor, so maybe they're more authoritative to make this decision. I need to close some of my workbenches here. Okay, so back to Chrome, the PM side. They see the response that the editor has put. And I go, okay. And let's add the translator this time. So what I want to do is we'll add this to the glossary so that we don't have this problem again in the future. Right? And then if I want to get crazy, I can come in here and if you really want to track this stuff, because I'm a PM, that's what PMs do. I'll come in here and change the status to waiting for pending feedback linguist, right? Because I've asked the translator to deal with this. Switching back to Firefox, I'm gonna log out, log back in as my Spanish translator. Right, I've been added again, so see, will do, but because I have this as this translator, I happen to have access rights to do so. I'm gonna come back into the workbench here where I'm working on stuff. It remembers my filter, so I've still got it. And what I'm gonna do is, actually, this is the one we decided to, nope, this is the one we decided to keep. Got segment. I'm going to go ahead and make it valid because I'm authorized to do so. Whatever reason, I'm going to do that because I'm a linguist and I want them to be the same. I'll save that in the glossary. Right, and now we've got terms. So whenever I encounter this from now on, and I run my QA checks on this segment, it's going to go, hey, wait a minute, you've got the wrong translation of the term segment. So I can easily find it here and insert that sucker in here and fix it. Boom, done. Now, come back here. I don't actually need this one now. And I can change the status of this one to closed, which essentially would be resolved, right? So we've got, again, we've tried to keep these fairly general. We had some feedback through the beta phase of how many statuses we want. So we've got open, which is brand new. Somebody makes it in progress. Pending feedback from either side, generally the PM side or the linguist side, whoever's working on it. Closed is resolved, and then canceled, obviously, is we decided we didn't need this one anymore. So I'll mark that one as closed because I did it. And and say add it to the glossary. Right, and on to the next one. Boom. That's kind of it. That's the flow, generally speaking. Got some questions here, so let me see if I can get this window open where I can see my questions. So first question is, are there plans to identify a segment in the workbench in a way that you can see that there's chats associated with it? I don't know that there currently is one, because this would be the place to have it. So I think there are plans to identify it, but I would have to double check that and get back to you. I don't know if it's officially in the roadmap. We do have a number of features planned that we're rolling out. Like I said, being able to mention a specific user is a new one that just came out in 13.2. So I got to check that roadmap again. But yes, it would be nice to be able to easily find segments that have chats associated with them, aside from obviously the chat manager itself. And for example, I don't think we have a filter for it. We got all our comment stuff, but you know, obviously it'd be nice to be able to find the ones with chats, similar to finding segments with comments on them. So not yet on that one. I think I just answered this one. Patrick asked, can you use filters to filter by segments with chat? And I don't think you can yet. No, I don't see a filter in there for that yet. Can you export these queries into Excel or something else? No, there's not an export feature yet. Will there be an export feature? I'm not sure if that's on our list also. Okay, I think that's all the questions for now. I mean, that's basically it, folks. So I think we covered kind of general flow. Like I said, we're going to be adding more features. If you're a current XTM user, you know, get into our XTM wish list and definitely look in there for items related to the query management module. If somebody's already put in the thing you want, you can, like, you know, comment on it and vote it up and help shape the way it's development. If you guys don't know about XTM wishlist, you sign up for XTM On Demand. It's free, but really only customers have access to the wishlist. You just give your email address, but there's nothing else to it. And then you can find those issues, vote up issues, create things that you would like to see in XTM, and those kind of make it into our roadmap. And what happens is when they get developed, they'll go through one release cycle in our XTM Labs mode, which is, it's past beta testing, but it's not public yet. So basically everybody who participated in the XTM wish list for the development of a feature gets early access to the feature for one release cycle in the XTM Labs mode in your account. So you can make sure you can participate in that stuff to help push these forward. And look for our release notes with every release of XTM. They'll be talking about what's new with the query management module, etc.